You could start off with something that's going to push you for at least 20 minutes in your day. The thing is, it's never, I don't have enough time, because we've all got the same amount of time. It always comes down to, what is your priority? What is your biggest priority? Is it a bigger priority for you to actually have a big breakthrough? Or is it more of a priority for you to sit your ass on the couch, watch that latest Netflix video, chow down some chips? Come on, you have time in your day. There's no way that you're going for it and doing everything that's like ultimate top high priority without having time for something that's more important. So if this really is important for you to have a breakthrough, to expand your comfort zone, to have better relationships, to improve your health, to deepen your spirituality, to have fun in life more and live more in fulfillment instead of in suffering, then go out, take on a big challenge, conquer that challenge, commit to it, do whatever you got to do to finish it.
Break free from modern-day slavery. Live the freedom trinity of financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. Live in true fulfillment with a foundation of growth and balance in health, relationships, spirituality, and having fun doing what you love most. Let us show you the way. Welcome to Freedom Hack Radio.
G'day and welcome to another episode of Freedom Hack Radio. I'm your host, Bryce Robertson, and today, my friends, we are going to talk about the 75 Hard Challenge from Andy Frisella and the 4x4x48 challenge by David Goggins. I'm going to be sharing with you how these challenges came into my awareness, how they came into my life, and why I chose to take these challenges on. We're going to break these challenges down and explain what they are in a minute. And then I am going to also share some hacks on how I think we can get through these challenges with most ease, to have the most success. And, really, ultimately, what this is all about. Some of you probably Google search this video so that you can come and check out a little bit more info on the 75 Hard Challenge or the 4x4x48 challenge. And that's excellent. I fully welcome you. You're going to get a ton out of this. Some other people may be listening to this and hopefully be inspired by not necessarily doing these challenges yourself. I think it's, I have had a great experience doing these challenges. And although I cannot recommend anything to you because I'm not your physician, I'm not your advisor, I'm not taking on any of those legal responsibilities. It's up to you to make all of your decisions, but hopefully you can be inspired to take on some kind of massive challenge in your life right now that's going to have a huge impactful shift, or cause an impactful shift in your life so that you can really have massive breakthroughs. And I'm going to share a lot of the breakthroughs that I've had as all of this unfolds. So before we dig too much into my story and how we came across this, I am going to share with you what these challenges are. So let's first start off with the 75 Hard Challenge right here. And this is the rules of the 75 Hard Challenge. Now, again, this challenge was created by Andy Frisella. Andy Frisella is a very successful entrepreneur. He's also a very successful podcast host and author to the book 75 Hard, which revolves around the 75 Hard Challenge. And here are the rules for the challenge. Now you can see up the top there, it says absolutely no alcohol, no cheats, and no compromise. Now I'm going to start off by saying this challenge is a 75-day challenge. Okay. So all of the 5 points that we're going to talk about below and the note above that says no alcohol, no cheats, no compromise, that is based on every day for 75 days. Okay. And there's 5 things we're going to do each day for 75 days. And then you go take a look at the bottom here, and it says any deviation at all, and you must start over from day one. So you must complete these 5 things and make sure you're no alcohol, no cheats, no compromise every day for 75 days. And if you fall short on any of these items here whatsoever, then the rules are that you are to start again. Okay, so point number 1 that we need to do every day for 75 days is consume 1 standard gallon of water. Now that's water only. It's not adding anything else. You're not adding any flavors or anything in there. That's just straight up 1 gallon of water. The second point is perform 2 daily workouts. So that's 2 workouts a day, minimum of 45 minutes each, spaced no less than 3 hours apart. One of the workouts must be outdoors. One of the workouts must be indoors. Now, on this point here, this is the context. A workout for each person could be very different depending on where you're at, what challenges you, what you need to work on the most. Are you having any physical setbacks right now? And all of these things need to be taken into consideration. Someone who's extremely fit and has already been working out and has a pretty hardcore workout regime, a challenging 2 workouts a day might be, wake up and do a strength workout for at least 45 minutes in the morning where you're lifting weights and doing a lot of strength workouts. And then later on in the day, it may be, say, a 5-mile run in the afternoon, or a 4-mile run, like 45 minutes. And that may be challenging for that particular person. But if that sounds way too intense for you, because remember, we are doing these workouts every day and we don't have to do the same types of workouts every day. It's really up to us what types of workouts or exercise that we want to do. Some people might say, hey, you know what? I'm going to walk for 45 minutes. And then 3 hours later, or after 3 hours later, I'm going to do at least 45 minutes of yoga and stretching. That may really be what your body needs. And that may be a big stretch, no pun intended, for you to actually, take on those kinds of exercise regimes for 75 days. But regardless of what it is that you choose, it must be 2 workouts or exercise sessions, minimum 45 minutes each, spaced no less than 3 hours apart. One must be outdoors no matter what the weather is. So if it's winter time and it's snowing outside, guess what? Your butt's going to be outside and you're going to be doing whatever exercise that you've prescribed for yourself in that weather, in those conditions. And if it's raining, you're going to be in the rain. If it's cold, you're going to be in the cold. If it's gleaming sun, you're going to be in the sun. If it's windy, you're going to be in the wind. One of those workouts is outdoors. It's meant to be like that. It's meant to push us outside of our comfort zone. This is not called 75 easy. It is called 75 hard. It is meant to be hard. It is meant to stretch us. It is meant to be challenging. And to be honest with you, when I took this on, and I'll give more details on this later, I actually enjoyed the outdoor workouts almost the most out of all of the different components to this 75 hard challenge. Pushed me to go outside and actually do some workouts in the snow, in the really, really cold, snow blowing into my face at 25 miles an hour, and actually just had a great time. I really loved being outdoors in the elements. I was out there in the rain. We've also been out there in the hot sun and everything like that as well. So that's the second point. Third point, self-development reading. So some type of book that is pushing you towards self-development. We're not talking about reading a Harry Potter fantasy book here. We're talking about something that's actually going to make a developmental change in your life for the better, and reading 10 pages of that book each day and taking notes. So 10 pages is not a lot to read each day. It's a little bit easier to handle than one chapter, especially if a chapter could be, it could be 80 pages long in some books. It could be 5 pages long in other books. So it's prescribed to just read 10 pages a day. So we're drinking 1 gallon of water, 2 workouts, one inside, one outside, and then 10 pages of a self-development book a day. And then the fourth point here is to follow a diet. Any diet, but you got to follow the diet and stick to it. No cheat meals, don't deviate. So whatever that is for you, it would actually be not good to have a one-size-fits-all diet. And so many challenges out there actually do have a diet fixed to them. Oh, you must eat this. You must do keto diet. You must like eat this kind of diet. It's like we're all built differently. Some of us have excess fat. Some of us have are trying to build muscle and trying to build strength. We've all got different goals. And the cool thing about the 75 Hard Challenge is that Andy Frisella has done one of the best jobs possible out there to create a challenge that is not a one size fits all, but kind of is a one size fits all, where you can make your own adjustments within it, within this context, where you can choose the types of workouts that you're going to do. They're not fixed workouts. He's not telling you exactly what you're supposed to do. You choose your workouts and you choose your diet. And you choose what you want to read too, as long as it's a self-development book or heading you in that direction. So choose a diet that you know is going to give you the impact that you want to get out of this challenge, and stick to it. And then remember, there is no alcohol in there whatsoever, and no cheating. So pick a diet and stick to it. I personally chose a diet which was very much like a Mediterranean style eating, high in fats, lots of vegetables, a little bit of protein, and no junk food, no sweets, no desserts, anything like that. Very much an enjoyable diet for me, not too much varying from what I usually eat. But that's what I happen to choose, and everybody's got different diets. So make sure you choose something that actually works for what you want to do. And then the next one, and a lot of people actually say this is the hardest piece, and that's taking a daily progress picture. That's, if you're a guy, ripping your shirt off, being in your board shorts, taking a picture in front of the mirror every day so you can see the progress that's actually happening throughout the challenge. And then women, you can get in a bikini, do the same thing. It is meant to actually expose our body so that we can see the different changes that are happening throughout the 75 days. So we want to take a daily progress picture. And any deviation at all, and you must start over again from day one. So that's the 75 Hard Challenge, to do all of those 5 things every day for 75 days. And if you do not complete on one day, then the context is that you start over again from day one and that you keep going. So that is that challenge there. Then the next challenge, the 4x4x48. This is it right here. Now, this challenge was created by David Goggins. Those of you who don't know who David Goggins is, he's a beast in the mental development world and the athletical achievement world. He's actually a ex-Navy SEAL. I can't remember how much he weighs, but he was very, very obese, and he was trying to get into the Army, and he had to put himself through some very hardcore challenges just to even get to qualify to be in the Army. And then once he joined being in the Army, he just conquered Hell Week and all the other crazy challenges that Navy SEALs go through. And then he went on to actually create what I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the world records of the most amount of pull-ups. I think he did 4,030 pull-ups or something like that in a short period of time. I can't remember how long it was. I think it might have been 24 hours. He's done a lot of ultra marathon running, a lot of hardcore challenges. He is the absolute master at overcoming our mental setbacks and all of the times where we could quit, based off the fact that he says that when we actually think we're at our 100%, we're actually only at 40%, and we've got a lot more that we can actually go. And that's, I believe, why he created the 4x4x48 challenge, so that we can get to experience that and see how that can show up for us in our life. So The 4x4x48 challenge is 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. So that is 48 miles in 48 hours spread 4 hours apart. So that means that, we go run 4 miles. And then once we're finished running, or from the point we started running, in the next 4 hours, we're going to do another run. So then you come back from your run, a run for, 4 miles will take anybody, depending on how fit they are, probably somewhere between half an hour to an hour, depending on how fast and quick you want to run. And then after that, you need a little bit of recovery time, get some food, have some stretching or whatever it is that you need to do. And then a little bit of rest time to sleep, which usually ends up being about 2 hours or less. And so there's definitely going to be some sleep deprivation, because this actually carries out over 48 hours. So this is the 4x4x48 challenge by David Goggins. And I am going to stop that share and come back to me. So the reason that I actually shared both of those with you is to let you know the context of what these challenges are. And now I'm actually going to talk about how these came into my life. So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm managing multiple businesses. And last year, I had an extremely successful year in business, tons of business growth, tons of deal flow. Everything was flourishing. Although I was working like a madman and super excited to grow my business. So I was working around about 80 hours a week. And I did this for just about the entire year last year. I was working about 80 hours a week, working super hard, overcoming lots of challenges in business and business growth. I'm sure all of our entrepreneurs out there can understand the types of challenges that we can come across. I'm certainly not for the faint-hearted. But in addition to that, because of all the stuff that's been happening in the world, my wife and I hadn't really traveled much last year. And we usually travel a lot. You can see this world map behind me here. I'm all about freedom and traveling all over the world and the freedom trinity of financial, time, and location freedom. Yet last year, I wasn't traveling that much because it was a bit of a grim environment and it just wasn't super exciting. People were super uptight and there was a lot of rules and regulations, and we just all about freedom. We didn't want to be part of that. So we stopped traveling for about 2 years with all the stuff that was happening with COVID. But so that was happening. I wasn't traveling, which is what I normally do. I usually spend at least 3 months out of the year, if not 6 months of the year traveling, sometimes more. And we didn't do that. I was working 80 hours a week. I was having challenges within my marriage, some because of actually, working so much and not having enough time to work on our marriage. But we're also having some other challenges that we're working through as well. And then in addition to that, I had additional emotional stresses that I was working through, challenges that I was working through, life's challenges. I mean, we all have them. Yes, at time to time, some of the challenges are more pronounced than others. Last year was an extremely challenging year for me. I had all of these things in play and I was very, very much out of balance. I was like so far in to work and building business that I was actually really affecting my health. I wasn't working out anywhere near as much as what I used to or what I usually do. I wasn't spending much time in my marriage or any of my relationships for that matter. And I wasn't having the time to ground myself spiritually. I felt really, really out of balance. And that started to escalate and escalate and escalate and compound until it got to the point near the end of last year, actually 2 weeks before Christmas. I'm sitting here and I'm in my office and I've got 3 computers. Now tell me this is not a sign from the divine telling me to slow down. I've got 3 computers that have nothing to do with each other, and none of these computers are working for me on this particular day. And I'm just like my heart and soul just wants me to just relax and just take the day off. But my drive and my enthusiasm is like, I've got to push through the challenges, go, 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 go. And I'm just feeling all of that like stress built up over the whole year that I haven't had a proper release on. And I'm trying to push through these computers, and it took me about 4 or 5 hours, and I finally pushed through and I got one of these computers to work. Now, going back, tell me that was not a sign from the divine to say, Bryce, time out. Okay, take some time off. Obviously you don't need to work today, but here's me. No, I gotta do it. Gotta do it. Gotta conquer. Gotta complete the things that I say I'm going to complete. So I pushed through, and on one of my computers, I actually got it to work. And then I started working for about half an hour. And I'm just feeling it. I'm just feeling like the stress building up and amplifying in my body. It's buzzing through my mind. And I'm just like, I can feel the energy everywhere. And it feels disgusting because I got so much like stress built up, and I'm just trying to push and push and push. And then after half hour of working, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to like time out. I'm going to do what I should have done at the beginning of the day. And I'm going to go time out. And so I went for a quick walk, grabbed my breath, and then I just lied down on the couch. I did some breathing exercises, and I wanted to just calm myself down and get relaxed. And I think I might have even like fallen asleep for a little bit. I had about an hour's rest, an hour of like chilling out. It was me lying down on the couch. My dogs are sitting there. It was very peaceful. I went from super stressed down to, hey, I'm feeling pretty calm. And then the doorbell rang, ding dong. And then I look out the door, and there's the contractors here. And then I realized that for the next 2 to 3 hours, I've got back-to-back contractors coming to take a look at our house and all of the remodels that need to be done. And I literally need to walk through with each contractor from each craft, telling them, here's the project, here's what we need to do, here's the intricacies. And like right now, guys, I just freaking need some time out. I need to just chill out. I'm like, okay, the contractors are here. I know they're back to back. Dig deep. You have to do this. You have to push through this, right? So I do it. I go down. I'm walking through the contractors through this project, and just every single part of me just wants to go back up to the couch and go back into that relaxation mode. I really am not in the mood for walking through with these contractors. I need some time out, but this lasts for like 3 hours. And then, oh my God, and then it finishes. And I'm like, yes, this is amazing. That finished. And then I come back, and then I take my dogs, and then I take them outside to go have a pee. We're going for a walk. I'm taking the dogs for a walk. And then my wife comes buzzing up the driveway super hard. And then I realize, oh crap, we have to go out. We've got all these friends we've got to meet. We've got all of these commitments. And I know the next 2 weeks in my calendar is just back to back to back. Like I literally don't even have half hour of my own spare time because I've got that many commitments booked back to back through business, with friends, with all of these things at the end of the year too. And so I'm walking my dogs, and they're pulling on the leash. And my one little pup, he's about at the time, he's about a 6-month-old little pit bull mix. And he's just like pulling on the leash, super enthusiastic, innocent, by the way, nothing wrong with what he's doing, but it's just like pulling on me and pulling on the leashes. And I just like reaching a point of overwhelm and stress and frustration to the point where I was just feeling like I wanted to pick up this little guy, my little dog that I love. I wanted to pick him up and throw him. And I didn't, because I love the little guy, but that's how I was feeling. I was so like, just like, I need a time out. And so I ended up, the dogs peed. I went back upstairs. I came in, I looked at my wife, and I just said, I need a time out. And then I just went and lied on the couch. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, sorry, I can't go out tonight. Clear my calendar for the next 2 weeks. I need some time out. I need to just get in touch with like myself and stop all the freaking noise and all of the pressure from everything going on. I am just going to wrap up this year by just having silence and just getting in communication with myself and in touch with my soul and my heart of what I really need, because I need to just like get rid of some stuff, and I need to reset, and I need to come into next year with a fresh start. And so that's what I did. And so my wife and I agreed that I was going to have 2 weeks of solitude and silence. She was still in the house, but there was no communication or anything like that because I didn't want her influence. I didn't want any noise coming from anybody at all. And I just wanted to just check in with myself. Now, interestingly, this 2 weeks also fell over when Christmas and New Year's was. So we did actually celebrate Christmas and we did celebrate New Year's. But apart from those two celebrations, the whole rest of the time, I was actually just getting in touch with myself, doing breathing exercises, meditating, slowing down, and really listening to what I needed. And it's interesting what happens when we actually slow down all of the noise and all of the stuff that's coming in from social media and the media and other people and ourselves and our mind chatter, and slow all that down. We know what we need. We know what the solutions are. And I knew I needed to have some kind of disruption, radical shift, big challenge. I needed to get back into health and fitness. I needed to get back into spending more time and putting more effort into my relationship, deepening my spirituality, and having fun doing the things that I love most. I was very much out of balance. And I realized after about the fourth day of really settling into this silence and solitude, I realized, number one, about 80% of the stress that I was feeling was actually stress that I was creating myself because of the own pressure I was putting on myself, because I just take things so seriously. I have to do exactly what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it. My word means everything. Otherwise, I'm going to let my investors down. I'm going to let my wife down. I'm going to let my dogs down, my friends down, and, my business partner and my team down. And so I'm just taking everything so seriously, putting the weight of the world on my shoulders, and then over exaggerating the need for me to actually do everything at the capacity that I actually needed to do. Because the interesting thing was, when I actually pulled back and stopped for those 2 weeks, my business absolutely thrived. I didn't need to be putting so much effort in. I could actually take the back seat because I've created a business where a lot of my team members are taking care of everything. So a lot of it's automated, and really it was just my own self pressure and stress that I was putting on there. But another thing I realized is that I knew I needed a big breakthrough. I knew I needed a big challenge, and I really wanted to start off with the physicality of that. And I wanted to get into some kind of big physical challenge so that I could just put my energy into that and then amplify the other areas of my life. And so then I remembered back to a couple of months ago where one of my friends, who's also a Chinese medicine doctor, actually knew that I wanted to make a shift in my health. And then he offered me the challenge to step up and do the 4x4x48 challenge. He said it was something that he had done the previous year. He had a lot of big breakthroughs with it. It was a huge challenge for him. He wanted to pass that challenge on for me because he thought that that could really help me in my life. And then around about the same time, I remembered that my business partner, Nolan, he said to me, "Hey man, there's this 75-day challenge." He gave me Andy Frisella's book, and he said, "I really think you're going to dig it. I think it could make a lot of positive impacts in your life." And so I knew in this moment of solitude and silence that the 4x4x48 was definitely a challenge I wanted to take on. And so I made an intention right then that I am doing that 4x4x48 challenge. But the thing is that's 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And I'd never done an ultra marathon before. The longest I'd ever run is one marathon. And to be honest, it actually kicked my butt. I've never really been much of a long distance dude. I'm more of like a Spartan race, short spurts kind of guy. Even though I've done triathlons, reverse triathlons, a lot of obstacle challenge races, this 4x4x48 was a large one for me because there's no way I'd ever done 48 miles before. I'd only ever just done a marathon. That was a big stretch. but it was broken up into chunks in a way that I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting. I'm welcoming the sleep deprivation. I'm welcoming breaking it up into 4-mile chunks because psychologically, I think that's easier for me to handle than the monotony of running for 48 miles. And I know some people may enjoy those long distance runs. It's not really my thing. So 48 miles, I was in, I knew I was going to do it. But how the heck do you train for something like that? And so I started searching online, and all I found was there is no training program for this. There is nothing you can really do to fully prepare yourself for the 4x4x48 challenge. So then I'm like, well, how about I do the 75 hard challenge to lead me up to the 4x4x48 challenge, because I think that's about the only challenge or training program or regime out there that could whoop my butt into shape, because I'm literally going from 0 to 48 miles in a very short period of time. Now, my schedule ended up changing, but at the time where I actually locked in the dates of where I was going to do the 48 challenge and start the 75 hard, I was going to go on vacation. I really wanted to knock out my 48 challenge before I went on vacation. I didn't want to be doing that while I was on the road. So where I was at that timeline, I knew that if in the beginning of the year, I actually started or when I started my 75 hard challenge, I had 7.5 weeks to go from running about 4 miles once or twice a month, because that's what I was doing last year. I really wasn't running that much. So going from running 4 miles once or twice a month to running 48 miles in 48 hours. And the time I had to prepare for this was 7.5 weeks. So I started my 75 hard challenge. And I came straight out of the gate. I knew I had 7.5 weeks. And the first week I couldn't run because my legs were actually hurting from previously doing tons of intense workouts and then slowing down for that last year. And I hadn't been stretching properly, and I had a lot of creaks and aches and pains. And I honestly couldn't even run properly without having pains in my legs and my knees and a whole bunch of different areas. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to like ease my way into this. And then I'm going to have to massively accelerate if I'm going to be able to conquer here. And so my first week, I was hiking and running for the workouts in my 75 hard challenge. I was also doing yoga and stretching as well, but I was building up to getting to the point where I could run and do strength exercises. But by the time I was about probably 3/4 through that first week of the 75 hard challenge, one of my friends reached out to me and said, "Hey man, don't you have that 48-mile challenge coming up soon?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "When's that?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a little over like 6.5 weeks." And he's like, "Dude, you haven't even but you're not even running yet. Are you going to be able to do it?" And I said, "Yeah, well, I'll probably just walk it. I mean, there's no rules to say that you have to run it. You could actually walk it." And so then the next day I went out to the running trails and I just thought, well, let me just walk 4 miles and see how long it takes, so that then I can do some calculations and figure out how that would work out. How much sleep am I going to get between each 4-hour break and all of this. So I went out, I did my 4 miles, and I'm thinking while I'm walking it, I'm like, yeah, you know what, dude, you don't have to like run the 4x4x48. You can walk it. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. And that was something I was trying to achieve within my challenge too. It's like, how can I conquer this without putting too much pressure on myself? Because putting pressure on myself was what actually got me here in the first place, needing to do a big breakthrough challenge like this. So I walked the 4 miles. I came back, I timed it, and I looked at the time, and I was like freaking 2 hours. And so I'm like, all right, if I did this in the 4x4x48 challenge, I've got 4 hours, 4-hour chunks for each run. So within that 4 hours, it takes me about 20 minutes to get ready, get my running clothes on, do a bit of foam rolling and stretching, and drink a glass of water, and then go out there and run. And then in this case, at the time, walk. And so then it would have taken 2 hours to walk the 4 miles. Okay. So then that's 2 hours and 20 minutes. And then when I come back, it takes about 40 minutes to recover, hydrate, eat and get some nutrition, disrobe, and then go rest. So I looked at that. That's 3 hours. If I've got 4 hours and then there's 3 hours being taken up by preparation, running, and then winding down and nutrition, then I've got literally a maximum of 1 hour's rest in between each run. And I have to do this for 48 hours. I looked at that and I'm like, that's not going to work. Like, I need more rest than that. I am going to figure out how I'm going to run and do this thing. So then the next day, I actually started running. I started running 2 miles. The day after that, I did 3 miles. The day after that, I did 4 miles. And then after about probably 4 or 5 days, certainly by the end of that first week of running, when I'm about 2 weeks deep into my 75 hard challenge, I'm feeling really strong with running. And then I start doing 7-mile runs, 10-mile runs. And now I'm feeling like I am back on, baby. I am back where I was in my peak fitness before I fell off the bandwagon. I'm feeling strong. So then I'm like, all right, I'm leading up. I've still got a few weeks until by 4x4x48. I need to like test the waters of this thing, because like I can't just like go straight into it. I need to see what's it going to be like if I do a few runs back to back. So I did 2 runs. I did 4 hours, and then 4 hours later, I did my second run. I'm like, okay, 2 runs back to back. That feels pretty good. Then about, I think it was 3 weeks, or maybe it was 4 weeks before the 4x4x48, I carved out a day and I did 4 of the runs. So over a 16-hour period, I did 4 miles, 4 hours later, 4 miles. And I did that for 16 hours. So I spent the day, I ran 16 miles. I wanted to feel out what's it like to actually run, come back, recover, run, come back, recover, run, and do that 4 times throughout the day. I didn't really have to deal with sleep deprivation in that because it was during the day, but it was what's it like back to back. And I felt really good and I felt really strong. I started to nail down how I'm going to get nutrition, how much water I'm going to drink before and after, some of the things that I'm going to achieve within those breaks. And then I'm like, okay, next weekend, I am going to spend 24 hours and I'm going to do a 1/2 of the 4x4x48. I'm actually going to do my own 4x4x24, where I'm going to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, do my first run, and then I'll do another run at 6 a.m., another run at 10 a.m., another run at 2 p.m., another run at 6 p.m., and then I'll wrap up at 10 p.m. at night. And so I did it. And I felt very strong, and I realized my hydration's on, my recovery's on. I'm feeling really good. I'm ready to go. This is like I'm as prepared as I'm going to be. And then about 2 weeks later, I actually came across my 75 hard challenge. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what that was like, because I'm just about to share with you some videos, because I took some videos before and after each run, and I'll share with you what my experience is, so you can see what was it like, what was the experience like, what worked, what didn't work, what was the journey like along the way. And there certainly was a journey. Did I even finish at all? Did I conquer? Did I fall up short? I'm going to be sharing that with you in a minute here. But before I do, let me actually share some of the hacks that helped me make it easier to go through the 4x4x48 challenge. And that is before and after every run, I started rolling out using a foam roller and actually rolling out, just doing all of my leg muscles, even did a little bit of my shoulder muscles as well. Look, it only took a couple of minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes before I go for a run, and then about 5 minutes after I go for a run. I didn't really want to like stretch too much. I didn't want to do any static stretching, because I've heard that can lead to other problems later on. So it was foam rolling before and after each run. Also, after I ran about a mile in each run, I was doing dynamic stretching. That's stretching in movements, swinging my legs out to their full extremity this way and then this way, doing some other dynamic stretches to be able to just maintain that ultimate flexibility, to make sure there wasn't going to be any problems with flexibility or tension during my runs, because I'd never done 48 miles before, and I didn't know how my body was going to handle it. Another hack that I actually received, and I received this from Brian Acosta, who has competed in world championship Ironman competitions. He's also been on previous episodes of Freedom Hack Radio, a good friend of mine, and I consider him a mentor in the physical and athletical world. He's really had a lot of achievements. He's telling me, dude, drink a pint of water before you go running, and when you come back, drink 2 pints of water. So that was my hydration, and that was something I achieved to keep up. Now, I actually added some salt and some lemon into my pint of water before I went on a run. There's about a half a large lemon with a pinch of salt. That helps me keep up the electrolytes and also the alkalinity in my body, and a little bit of extra hydration. So that was something I added in myself. And then in between each race, also eating a bit of celery and banana. The banana really for the legs, and stopping all of that like build up in the legs. And the celery is actually one of the vegetables that has the highest electrolyte recuperation that we can actually have in there as well. So without any further ado, I'm actually going to share some of the before and after videos of my 4x4x48 so you can follow along with me on my journey. So here we are, the beginning of my 4x4x48. I'm going to be, over the next 2 days, I'm going to be running 4 miles every 4 hours. I'm going to be doing that for 48 hours. So by the time I'm done, I'll have run 48 miles in 48 hours. This is run number 1. It's 2 a.m. It's about 50 degrees. The moon's out. I'm feeling pretty good. Didn't really sleep last night. I was pretty much just excited, ready to get this going. So here we go, run number 1. Looking forward to it. Okay, just completed run number 1. Feeling good, feeling strong. Gonna go get some sleep. Ready for run number 2, a couple hours. All right, run number 2. Tell you what, I was feeling pretty good being in bed just now. It was a little bit tougher to get up. But, you know, main thing's getting up. Now I'm up, ready for run number 2. It's about 50 degrees, same condition as run number 1. Yeah, just finished run number 2. Feeling pretty good. Man, I was pretty freaking hungry on that one. I'm going to have some breakfast now. Go have a stretch, get some hydration. Beautiful thing about this run is the sun came up. I got to ditch the headlamp. You can hear the birds chirping. Don't know if you guys are picking up on that, but yeah, beautiful. Beautiful time to be alive. Beautiful time to be doing it. 8 miles down, 40 to go. Talk to you soon. Okay, so this is run number 3. Feeling a little bit more rested. Feeling like I had a bit better of a sleep that time. This is my 10 o'clock run. Looking forward to it. A little bit windy. I think we're going to get that, but apart from that, 55 degrees. Feeling pretty good. Let's do it. Let's rock and roll. Okay, run number 3, done and dusted. Feeling pretty good. I was a bit slow to start off on that run. Legs hurting a little bit, but now I'm feeling pretty awesome. I'm hungry. My wife's cooking some amazing food, so I'm going to go up and have a big meal. Feeling good. That's a quarter of the challenge. 12 miles down. Here we go. Bring on the 4th. Boom. It's time for run number 4. It's 2 p.m. Feeling pretty good. A little bit of rain here, but we're good. Ready to rock and roll. Yes. Just finished run number 4. Had my favorite little puppies with me. Look at those guys, man. Loving it. Yeah, we had fun. Running around together. Feeling good. Feeling strong. Ready for that home-cooked meal that my wife promised me on the last run, but it wasn't quite ready after the 3rd run, so it's game on now. Now it's ready. Time to eat. Yes, feeling good. 1/3 of the way through, 16 miles down. I just jumped over that thing. So did my 2 dogs.
Where?
Okay. Run number 5. Feeling pretty rested. I think this one we'll get to see the sun go down, or like start to go down anyway. So pretty beautiful time of the day. Feeling pretty rested, had an amazing meal. So got a lot of nutrition, feeling good. Let's go knock this one out. Well, that's the end of run number 5. Felt pretty good. I think I went a little bit slower on that one than my other runs, but at a good pace, nice meditative state. And guess what? I'm hungry again. So gonna have some more food, chill out. My next run will be in the dark. Bring it on. So here we are, 10 o'clock. This is run number 6. So after this, it'll be 24 miles. I'll be halfway. Feeling pretty good. Actually, about half hour before I got ready to start this leg, I was actually starting to feel a bit tired, but we're all good. We're going to charge. We're going to rock and roll on this one. Legs are starting to feel it, but generally, I'm still good, feeling good, ready to rock and roll. Got 3 more night runs ahead of me, so let's do it. Well, finished run number 6. That one rocked me pretty hard. Got about halfway through, and then I just hit a wall. I just started to fade. The ground actually started to frost over. Had a bit of a cold snap. My shirt was all like sweaty and everything. I really felt the cold. And then I just really started to feel depleted with energy. I think I didn't have enough nutrition between the last break. So luckily, my wife actually came to check on me. She had a couple of bananas, and that rocked my world. It helped me push through the last mile there. And then I actually started to feel strong. So yeah, still feeling good. I know I've got to bump up my game on nutrition, get a lot more calories in there. I'm burning a lot of energy right now. So, all right, that's it for today. Day number 1 complete, 24 miles. Yeah, baby. Here we are, day 2, run number 7. Kind of in a pretty weird place. Part of me wants to rest. The other part of me is kind of programmed to keep going. So that's what we're here to do. So let's keep going. I was in such a trance from this run that I actually forgot to take video just after the run, but you know, a couple of minutes after now. Looking forward to getting some sleep. I'll say that. I'll see you at 6. Okay, so I pushed this run back about half an hour. That way, tactfully, I don't have to use a headlamp. So this is my 6 o'clock or 6:30 run. Here we go. Let's do this thing. Finished run number 8. I realized that I was in such a trance this morning for my 2 o'clock run. I realized afterwards I'd only knocked out 2 miles. So then on this run, I had to pick it up, had to do an extra 2 miles. So I just ran 6 miles. Had some goji berries with me to give me a little bit of extra energy. And then when I'm running, I realized, well, hey man, I did 6 miles for this. If I do 6 miles on the next 2 runs, then that means I can do this thing in 11 runs and not 12, and I'll be finished while the sun's up. So that's my strategy moving forward. It's going to come at a price. It means that I get less rest time in between each run. I'm going to be burning more calories, so I have to eat more. But I'm ready for the challenge. I came here for the challenge, and let's do this thing. I'm going to knock this out in 11 runs, get it done in daylight. So here we go, rest time. So here we are. I think this is run number 9. I actually had a pretty decent rest in that rest period. It's probably one of the best rests I've had so far, which is kind of funny because I just ran 6 miles before that and didn't have that much time to rest. But for some reason, I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling that was the most rejuvenating rest that I had. I'm going to give it a crack and knock out 6 miles in this one as well, so I can carve off that time off the end, do 11 runs instead of 12. It's a little bit hotter right now. It's about 70 something degrees. It was in the 40s this morning, and I was running in moist, wet grass, which made my shoes wet, my socks wet. My shoes are actually still wet right now, but I got clean socks on. That's one of the glories of breaking it up and having a rest in between, get to change out socks and everything. So, but yeah, feeling pretty good on this one. It's hot. I'm gonna have to keep pretty hydrated, and I'm just gonna chip away at 6 miles. Here we go. Just nailed that one. To be honest, I can't even remember what the number of that run was. I think it was 8 or 9. I don't know, but I just knocked out 6 miles. That was my strongest run yet. I actually started off kind of running in the blazing sun right now. It's like, I don't know, 70, 80 degrees. I have to check. But, you know, the sun's just belting down. So that's why I look like I'm in the Sahara Desert right now. But I started running with no shirt on, and that was just cooking me too much. So I put this bad boy on. And yeah, feeling strong, man. Just knocking out that 6 miles, got in a rhythm, kind of went to a deep meditative space, and that was my strongest run yet. So at this point, I know I've got 2 more runs. I've got 10 more miles to do. That means I'm 38 miles deep. And, you know, I'm wondering if I'm going to do that in 1 or 2 more runs. We'll see how I feel on the next one. But I'm feeling strong right now and ready to go have some more nutrition, get a bit of rest, and come back and bang it out. Okay, this is it. This is my 10th run. And I've officially decided that I am just going to do all 10 miles, the remaining 10 miles, all in this one run. It's probably going to take me about 2 hours to knock it out, maybe a little bit longer if I go a bit slower. And I'm just going to do it, man. Just going to do it, get it all done, knock it out in 10 runs. Just gonna commit. Got a few snacks with me so I can keep up on my nutrition. Got some coconut water, some goji berries. I'm ready to go. Let's do this thing. See you guys at the finish line. Yes, I just did it. Just finished my 48. That last run, I did 10 miles, smashed it. I pretty much sprinted for the last 2 miles. That is it. I am done, my friends. 48 miles in 39 and a half hours. The last 10 miles took me around about 2 hours, 20 minutes or something like that. It's probably a little bit more than 4 miles an hour. My legs feel like tree stumps. I think I could cut frozen potatoes on them right now. But that's it, my friends. I conquered. This here is my lap counting method. I've got 10 rocks here, 2 logs. I move 1 rock from this log to that log. That's 1 lap. I do 10 laps in one way, 10 laps the other way, and that's 4 miles. So there you go, guys. There was my 48 challenge. I had an absolute blast at doing that challenge. You know, there was definitely some points in there where I'm like, man, did I bite off more than I actually really want to chew here? You know, there was never actually a point where I thought I wasn't going to finish. And, you know, by the time I got to the actual race and begun, there was also not going to be a point that I was going to walk and do that challenge either. I ran the whole way. Actually, I think there was 1 lap on the last 10 miles where I was eating a banana that I actually I ran a lap and I was eating a banana. Sorry, I walked a lap while I was eating that banana so I could keep going because I wanted to just really keep the momentum going. But apart from that, I was running the whole time. And to actually set context, just so you guys know, I actually have the fortune of living on 7 acres, and I have a beautiful flat area at the front of our property where I've created a loop around the field, and 20 loops around that field around the path actually is 4 miles. So I had the great fortune of being able to actually go from my house down to the field and doing the laps and having any of the spare nutrition that I needed. It was in my car, on my Jeep. It was any of the, if I needed extra clothes or take a jacket on, take a jacket off, any of that kind of stuff. So extra hydration, goji berries, some bananas. I had that stuff in the car. So I suppose that was a little bit of an additional advantage advantage that not everybody would get to have. I know some people might actually have to put a backpack on or put a little fanny pack or somehow carry that stuff on their body if they're going out on a linear run of 4 miles out and back. But I had the opportunity that if I was feeling hot on one lap, I could take my jacket off, and then I could come over and I could actually put it in my Jeep and I could keep running. And there wasn't really that many stops at the car, but it was just there as a backup program. If I needed more hydration or nutrition or to change my clothes out, I had some backups in there. So that was really, really thing that I was super fortunate about. And that's why you saw some of the videos in a very similar environment, because it was all different areas and different angles of the front field there. But yeah, I got to say, once I got to that first 6 mile run, when I realized I made a mistake, I only ran 2 miles for the 2 o'clock run. I had to make up for it and do a 6 mile run at 6 a.m. run. And I realized like it was challenging to get through that run. I'll be honest, because, my brain was programmed and my body was programmed to do 4 miles only. But once I broke through that barrier and did that first 6 mile run, I knew I could do the next run at 6 miles. And by the time I had that rest after my first 6 mile run, something really, really magical happened. And I don't know how this happened, but I'm assuming this is what David Goggins is talking about, where he says, when you think you're at your 100%, you're actually at 40% and you've got a lot more you can go. But unless you actually push yourself through that barrier, you won't actually have that experience to know that to be true. And I had conceptually understood that and intellectually understood that, but I didn't actually know what that really felt like or what he really meant until after my 6 a.m. run. I rested and then I woke up and I felt like, oh my God, man, I am going to freaking crush this thing. I had like so much extra energy. I had so much extra motivation. And I not only broke through the barrier, but it was like, what's next, baby? Let's go. Like, let's really, really bring this thing on. And that's why I ran the 6 mile after that. And I could have done one more 6 mile after that and another 4 mile. But then on the last one, I realized, hey, man, I'm just going to do this thing in 10 hours. So, there might be some people out there that say, hey, you're supposed to do it exactly as it's prescribed and you must run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. But the challenge, the way I took it on for me personally was that, hey, man, I am going to do 48 miles. And if I can do it even quicker than 48 hours, then even better. And if I had have actually done it every 4 hours, it would have been 12 runs and I would have ended it probably on the 43rd hour, because there's 3 hours left after that for recovery and hydration and nutrition and everything like that. But I ended up doing it in 10 runs and I ended up doing it in 39 and a half hours. And I tell you what, I've done Spartan races, Tough Mudder, triathlons, reverse triathlon, half marathons, marathon. I've done a lot of different physical challenges. I've competed in the CrossFit Games. Oh, sorry, not the CrossFit Games, the CrossFit Open. 3 years in a row. I've done a lot of physical athletical challenges. And a lot of the times after I'm finished with one of those challenges, I'm like, oh man, I need to like chill out for like half a day, or I really need some rest and recovery. And yeah, I mean, I was pretty depleted after this energy wise, but I felt so freaking strong, man. Like the next day I went out and I like hiked for like, I don't even know how many hours. I think it was like 3 hours or something like that. And then later on in that week, I ended up doing another 3 hour, 4 hour hike. And then I ended up hiking after that, the highest mountain east of the Mississippi, all within like, I think it was like 4 days or something like that after the 4x4x48 challenge. And that was 7 hours up and back. I think it was an elevation gain of 4,000 feet or over 4,000 feet in just 3 hours going up and then coming back down. And I did that after the 48. because my legs felt amazing. I felt super strong. I wasn't like, oh, I need to recover and relax. I'm like, hey, what's next? Let me go. I'm like, my body was conditioned. I felt like Iron Man or some kind of invincible being, because it really, really, really built me up. And I've got to say, out of all of the challenges that I've done, and I can't quote to the 75 hard challenge just yet because I'm not complete. I've still got a few weeks left. I'm still just coming out after my 48 challenge. So I'm still not complete on the 75 hard yet, but so far out of all of the challenges that I've done, my 48 challenge left me with the most elated feeling. It was a huge feeling of accomplishment. I went from not even knowing if I was going to be able to do it running to just absolutely like crushing it and feeling like I conquered it to my values on my terms. You know, some of you might go out there and, you know, do the runs much quicker than I did. And you might add other things in there. But for me, it was a big challenge. I conquered it. I felt better than I've ever felt mentally, psychologically, physically, and even spiritually than any other challenge that I've done before physically. So it was a massive breakthrough for me. And, you know, not only did it give me confidence, it gave me massive confidence to do even bigger and better things. And this amplifies and magnifies for me, not just in the physical world, but into business and into my relationships and into spirituality and all the areas of our life, having fun, because these challenges don't just have a singular path of making us feel better physically. It really compounds a lot of other things. And by doing the 75 hard challenge so far, and by doing the 4x4x48, it's massively improved how I feel. It's helping me deepen my spirituality. And some of you may understand, especially long distance runners, there's a very meditative spiritual effect that happens when you run a lot. You're waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, it's pitch black. I was there by myself. It was essentially me and God running and nature. And that was a very spiritual experience for me. I had a lot of amazing mental, emotional breakthroughs when I was actually on those runs, just because of where my mind went and how it flowed and the things I processed. And even also in between each run in my recovery time, the way my mind worked was very, very interesting. A lot of breakthroughs there. And, you know, my marriage is so much better. I feel a lot more emotionally grounded. I'm feeling way better health and physically and energy wise, which is compounding over and spilling into my business, which is thriving and I'm much more successful at. And what I came here for, to get out of these challenges, is exactly what I've been able to get out of these challenges. And so that's why, look, if you want to go out and you want to do 75 hard, I mean, I've really enjoyed it. And I think it's amazing. And if you want to do 48, 4x4x48, I've had an amazing experience. Again, I can't tell you what's right for you, but if those challenges feel or sound right for you, go give them a go out there and go conquer. And because like, there's no way you're actually going to know what that breakthrough feels like until you actually do it. You can listen to what I've got to say here 10 times over, but you're only ever going to really know what it's like until you have that breakthrough and you have that experience yourself. And if you're listening to this and you're like, well, that's cool, it sounds very inspiring, glad that was your journey, but there's not a freaking chance I'm going to be able to run 48 miles, or I'm just not ready to commit to something as big as the 75 hard challenge. Although I think anybody could, because you can cater the workouts and you can cater the diet to what is actually going to fit for you. But at least, if nothing else, go out there today and be inspired to choose a big challenge. That's a huge challenge for you. Now, not something that's going to push you so far that you end up, you know, breaking your bones or pulling your muscles. Do something within reasonable capabilities, but make sure it's a big stretch, something that actually like makes you get a little bit nervous, maybe makes you feel cold and light in your feet, something that's like, man, I don't know if I can actually complete that challenge. That's the kind of challenge that I'm hoping to inspire into you today. Some of you may already know what that challenge is, and you may have been sitting on the sidelines for a long time. and you've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. I'll tell you what, there is never, ever, ever, ever going to be the right time to do any of these challenges. If it feels freaking messy, go for it, because that's probably exactly what you need. You know, I even put this off and put this off. I could have started the 75 hard challenge earlier in the year, but I was building up to actually having the right date when I would start it, and I was prolonging starting it, which gave me less and less time to train for my 4x4x48. But look, I did it and I conquered, because once I made my mind up and I decided to it, I just did it. And the interesting thing is, some of you guys might say, well, I don't have enough time. Well, I'm just going to say to that, bullshit, you don't have enough time. Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, David Goggins, Andy Frisella, pick anybody you know who excels in an area that you want to excel in. They have exactly the same amount of time as you. So it doesn't matter if you've got kids, doesn't matter if you've got a job and you're working a lot, you can find time to carve out some time in your day to actually do these challenges and to work through them and to do something that's really going to push you through and break you through to expand your comfort zone and bring you to bigger heights. You know, a lot of these challenges don't take too much of your time. You know, and you could start off with something that's going to push you for at least 20 minutes in your day. You know, the thing is, it's never, I don't have enough time, because we've all got the same amount of time. It always comes down to, what is your priority? What is your biggest priority? Is it a bigger priority for you to actually have a big breakthrough? Or is it more of a priority for you to sit your ass on the couch, watch that latest Netflix video, chow down some chips? Come on, you have time in your day. There's no way that you're going for it and doing everything that's like ultimate top high priority without having time for something that's more important. So if this really is important for you to have a breakthrough, to expand your comfort zone, to have better relationships, to improve your health, to deepen your spirituality, to have fun in life more and live more in fulfillment instead of in suffering, then go out, take on a big challenge, conquer that challenge, commit to it, do whatever you got to do to finish it. And, you know, if any of these have inspired you, consider the possibility of taking on the 75 hard challenge. All you have to do is go to Andy Frisella's website, check out the 75 hard challenge. It doesn't cost anything to join. It's completely free. You can do it on your own timeline. And, same thing with the 4x4x48. If you want to do that, go to David Goggins' website. There's a section for the 4x4x48 challenge. Again, it's free. There's no place that you have to go to do it. It's self-accountability. Both these challenges are self-accountability. Go out there today, take a big challenge on, have a big breakthrough in your life. You owe it to yourself then to live in mediocrity. It's up to you to crank through and break through big challenges, to expand your comfort zone so you can live more fulfilled, and so the people around you can be more inspired and more joyfully excited to be hanging out with you. So go out today, right now, and commit to some kind of challenge that's really, really going to push you. And I hope you've got a lot of value out of this today. Again, I'm your host, Bryce Robertson, here at Freedom Hack Radio. And until next week, live large, live free. G'day, this is Bryce Robertson. I'm your host here at Freedom Hack Radio, and I truly, truly hope that you got a ton of value out of the episode that we just shared with you. And if you did, make sure to subscribe on your YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to your favorite podcasting platform. Hit the notification button so you can find out about the next episodes as they come out. Because if you haven't achieved financial time and location freedom, you really need to be dialed in here. So make sure to subscribe and follow us along as you grow on your path to financial, time, and location freedom here at Freedom Hack Radio.